How's it going, RadTechs? This is your senior radiologist, Corey Adams, here at ABC Medical Center. I'm here to talk to you guys today about sex versus gender. Now, before you say anything, I know those two sound very alike, very similar, but I can assure you there is a difference. First, let's start off by talking about what is sex. Other than the activity you have on your free time, you do your thing, that's on you. And whoever you do it with, I'm not judging. But in the dictionary, sex would be the physical characteristics of how you were born. So if you were born with something dangling between your legs, you might be a male. If you're born with something not dangling between your legs, you might be a woman. Now, what would gender make you then at that point? So gender is more or less culturally how you're constructed in society. So I have here two of my daughter's stuffed animals. We have the little duck and the fish from Nemo. So this little duck could be a male, could be a female. I can identify as one, if not the opposite. We have Nemo here, who has no idea what their place is in their gender, and they're still trying to decide. So for this, let's just say this duck is a male and its name is Chirpy. Chirpy, being that it's a male, you start to assume some things. That they're manly, that they're muscular, that they're strong, that they want to be the bigger voice, right? Alright, well, let's say Chirpy's a male, and that's the characteristics of a male. You have Nemo here, who's not really sure what they are or what they want to be. Now, biologically, they could be a female or a male. For this instance, they're a female. Okay, when you think of female traits and gender, you think of a few things. Personally, I think of feminism. I think of cardio at the gym versus weightlifting. I also think of some things that are a little sensitive, like unequal pay, unfair treatment at work, or discrimination because you're a woman. Overall, between the two genders or sexes, or however many you believe in or identify as, there is such thing as gender stratification, which essentially means one gender could be treated differently than another, whether that be rewarded socially, being treated more important, getting a raise, getting that job promotion, at the gym, heavier weights versus less heavy weights, or weights versus cardio in general. Those are various examples of gender stratification. Now, working in healthcare, you are going to face some challenges like that, where you either have to identify someone other than what their paperwork is saying, or you're not sure what they go by. And that's okay, especially here in radiology, where we have to do plenty of various exams and closed out do come off. Now, when you are trying to identify someone of the opposite sex, and let's say they are transitioning to become the same sex that you are, that could be a challenge, especially if you slip up and call them the wrong name or say he, she, whatever the case may be. So what I do is when I have an exam and I have a patient, I look at the paper or the chart or whatever it is I have to refer to before I go and get them. Figure out who they are, what they go by, does not matter what the sex is to me. Unless I'm doing an exam, which I have to ask if they're pregnant or not. That is still important. Now, if they are a male and they're using a feminine name, that's totally fine. If that's what they prefer, awesome. What I typically do is I will call them by the name that's listed or the nickname that's listed. And if they say, oh, I go by Chuck, or oh, actually my name is Steven, but I go by Tyler, or something like that. I call them whatever they prefer, no matter what that paperwork says. Now, with that being said, when you are looking at a chart for a patient and going to get them or preparing for them, whether it's an x-ray, mammo, CT, MR, it does not matter. Check their charts. See what is in there and see what should be in there. So if their biological name is Michael Williams and they're changing their name to Michelle Williams, that's totally fine. If it says Michael and it does not say Michelle, address them as Michael. And when they get up and come to you, they'll tell you, hey, my name's Michael, but I'm going by Michelle, I'm transitioning. Or in some cases, they might not say anything at all, but they may be dressed a different way from what you expect. And that does happen. In these instances where they identify different from what they look like or from what their chart says, double check the chart to see what their gender is. At this point, it should still be male or female. It won't say anything about transitioning or anything like that. It'll more or less just say nicknames. That's kind of a giveaway. If it's a male name and the nickname's a woman's name, or vice versa, you get the idea. In that case, if it's a female, for example, and you're going to do an x-ray, please be courteous and still ask them if they're pregnant. Even if they are transitioning and becoming a man, it's still appropriate. It's still best quality patient care. Please don't forget that just because they're going by Mike and not Michelle anymore. Now, with that being said, we all do live in a time where there's more genders, there's more sexual preferences, things are expanding that way, and there's judgment. There's some people who judge hardcore on it. There's others who, like myself, could care less what you do. It's your life, do you. But in the medical world, let's be professional about it. If Michael is becoming Michelle or Michelle is becoming Michael, please treat them with respect. Don't judge them. Don't discriminate. Don't even ask questions. If they bring it up in conversation, have a generic conversation, but don't make it too personal with them. Now, with that being said, the gender that the person was born with is how they should still be treated medically. Meaning, I'm going to pull my animals back out here. We have Chirpy, who's a male. Being that he's a male, if he is transitioning into Chirpa, a woman's name of some sort, we still need to treat him as if he is a male patient in certain circumstances, such as a prostate exam. Now, if he's at this point, if he's this age and he's transitioning, he still needs to understand that he is still a man and still has to be checked, prostate exams and all, just for his safety. That's all it's for. Now, we're going to bring Nemo out. Nemo is a woman, and let's say Nemo is transitioning into a male. Now, basically the same example, but on the opposite end of that spectrum. If she is becoming a he, she still needs to understand that in certain circumstances, she needs to be checked as if she is a woman. Prime example, pap smear. This isn't to discriminate as to her being a woman versus a male. This is for her own good, and this is for health care. We are not judging on what she's going by. We're not judging on her lifestyle. We just want to give her the best quality patient care. Now, I'm going to put my animals away. Nemo's gone away. Chirpy's gone away. There is an issue that you can run into this, and that's the insurance. The insurance can be limited, or it can be covering a male versus a woman, vice versa. So in this case, that patient must clear up everything with their insurance and let them know, hey, I'm transitioning from male to female, female to male. That way the insurance knows how to be billed, knows what to allow them to do and what allows them to not to do. So if they're a male wanting a pap smear, that's not going to make very much sense. If they're a female wanting a prostate exam, that's not going to make any sense either, right? Sounds silly. I know, I agree too. I want to tie more into radiology, and the best way I can do it, being that I am primarily x-ray, is any exam that typically you ask a woman she's pregnant and she's becoming a man, you still want to answer that question. Even if she has the beard hair and the voice and everything like that, you don't know that she's 100% transitioned. You don't know how far along she is. So if she's getting an abdomen x-ray, you still want to ask if she's pregnant. She might look at you funny, he might look at you funny at this point, but you just explain to her it's best quality patient care and I'm just doing my job. Now this works both ways. If we have a female becoming a male and they're our patient, we still need to look out for best quality patient care and shielding. So if they are still a female becoming a male, they still need to be shielded on the breasts if applicable, down in the genitalia area when applicable. The common sense things we do as radiation techs, no matter what the modality is, we still want to carry out those shielding protocols. Now with that being said, we want to be able to educate everybody and explain to everybody how things can go good and not so good. So prime example, you bring back a patient and they are transitioning and they say, hey, my name is Michael, but please call me Michelle. And you just, on purpose, keep calling them Michael and irritating them, upsetting them. Well, eventually they're going to yell back at you, outlash, or they may ignore you and go report it. Don't be this person. Don't be rude just because you don't believe in what they're doing. That's not cool. Other ways that we can make things go bad, go south, is if you are examining a female who's becoming a male, and same thing with their name. If their name is Mike, but their actual name is Michelle, don't be disrespectful. If you were not told that or didn't know that, that's one thing. But if they ask you to address them a certain way, please give them the respect and the courtesy to address them as they asked. Also, in these cases, don't make your patients uncomfortable. Don't turn around and giggle or go whisper off with another tech. Treat them like you treat everyone else, equally and respectfully. Because if not, you're going to make the patient uncomfortable. You're probably going to piss them off. That's going to get reported. That's only going to travel and escalate. And from there, it can go from within the hospital to the state, everything like that. And we will get bad reviews. We will be looked at as a discriminating hospital, and we don't want that. Neither do you, especially because it's your job that's going to be on the line in cases where you are discriminating. That is not okay, and you know it. Treat everybody equally, and we'll be just fine. And finally, changing clinical procedures, catering more or less to patients, whether they are identifying as different sex or they're gay or lesbian, whatever the preference is, it's not up to us, it's not our business. We just want to make sure that they get the best quality patient care and that they leave happy and they come back on happy terms, of course. So where's all this coming from and why am I bringing this up? So we want to educate and train all of us as employees, and we want to work together as a team to make sure that we're treating everybody the way they want to be treated, number one, with respect and equally. Number two, that the genders that are transferring or transgendering, they are being treated the way they want to be and they are being identified correctly. In exams, we want to make sure we're still doing the proper protocols based on the gender that they're born with, and once they transition, then we will alter. We will do that through education, we will train that, we will go live with that. We're actually going to have a lot of fun because we're all going to play each other's dummies for these exams, so I know you guys get it, and I know that everyone's comfortable with it during practice, so that when we go live with that new training and those new protocols, there won't be any fumbling, there won't be any mess ups, there won't be any mistakes. And if there are, we will learn the first way or we learn the hard way. Alright guys, that's all I really got for you. I just wanted to address that with everyone because times are changing and so are people. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, if you look at my daughter's stuffed animals here, you have Chirpy and Nemo. You see a fish and a duck or a bird, right? You can't tell what gender they are. You don't know who they are, what they're doing with their life. It's exactly how your patients are. You see this one, you see this one. There's no difference. Not the skin color, not the gender, not the sex, none of that. These are our patients and we're supposed to take care of them. More or less, make them smile. Have some fun with your patients because they'll have fun with you unless they're obviously in a trauma situation where their hips hanging out. Something cool like that. I didn't say something cool, you didn't hear that. Anyway, treat your patients like you'd want to be treated in a respectful and equal way, regardless of your lifestyle. Alright guys? Thank you very much for my little puppet show there, and you guys have a good day.